In this video, we'll talk about the possibility of subscribing to events that occur in GAM, where it's possible to run code managed by a developer at the time these events occur. GAM allows us to subscribe to different events that occur in applications, either when caused by a user action or triggered by some other action. The purpose of this is to run additional code implemented by the GNexus developer in predefined events provided by GAM. There are 4 categories of events that we can subscribe to. The first one is by user, which includes insert, triggered by the insertion of a GAM user, update, triggered by the update of a GAM user, and delete, triggered by the deletion of a GAM user. Next, update roles occurs when the roles of a GAM user are changed. Get custom info occurs in an IDP server and allows running code to obtain customized information from the user to send it to the GAM remote client. Save custom info allows reading the customized information sent from the IDP server and running code to process that information in the client and, for example, to save it in the tables that the system needs. One-time password valid user allows including code for the developer to validate the user who requested an OTP code. One-time password generate code, an event where the developer can customize how the OTP code to be sent to the user is generated. One-time password send code, an event that allows customizing how the OTP code is sent, which can be by SMS, notification, email, and so on. By default, GAM sends it by email. And one-time password validate code, a developer event used to validate the OTP code. Then there are role events. Here we simply have the typical insert, update, and delete. Then there are the events of a repository. Login occurs when a GAM user login takes place, regardless of the authentication type. Login failed occurs when the user login fails, only due to an incorrect username and/or password. Logout triggered on GAM logout. External authentication response, an event to customize how to process the response from an external IDP. This event must interact with the external IDP and end with the local login. And lastly, we have application events. In this case, there's only check permission fail, which is triggered when a permission is denied. This could be used, for example, to record a log of permissions that are checked and denied. Let's see how to subscribe to an event through the GAM web back office. To do so, we go to Settings, Event Subscription, and click on Add. And there we can enter a description and select which event we want to subscribe to, as well as the file name. This is the name of the DLL or class file that will listen to the event execution. The class name, this is the name of the program including its package in the case of Java, and finally the method's name. In GNexus, the method of the program is always execute. One possible implementation of a procedure that notifies about the notification event to the user could be the following, which, if the success method fails, loads the output JSON with the error information. Pay special attention to the rules that must be in the procedures that we make, since they must receive the name of the event and input JSON that will have information about the event. The output JSON is only used by certain events. Repository login and repository login failed, where it must return empty if okay, and the GAM error object if there's an error. Then there's user get custom info, where the output parameter must have the JSON to send to the client. Let's see some event subscription use cases. Repository login. As we said before, this event occurs when a GAM user login occurs, regardless of the type of authentication, which allows canceling the login and displaying a message to the end user. For example, if the user must have a certain role to log into an application, it could be validated and an error could be returned. A possible implementation for this could be the following. We check the session roles by comparing to role 170, where that role is the one that the user must have, and if the user has it, we do nothing. On the other hand, if they don't have it, we set the GAM error with the information we want. We'll have to stop the login. To do this, a JSON must be returned from the GAM error object. We also do this when there are no roles, since it would be the same case, but with a different error message. Let's continue with the repository events, but this time with login failed. As we said before, this event only occurs when a user's login fails with GAM error 11 or 18, which stand for an incorrect password or username. Our goal is to log all failed user attempts. To do so, we must subscribe to the login failed event, and in the procedure, work as we wish with the JSON we'll receive. In this type of event, the JSON will correspond to the GAM session external object, so we can include all its properties in the error message that we'll log. Another important use case could be how to send any type of data to a client from an IDP made with GAM. For this, we'll use user events. In the IDP, we must have the getCustomInfo event of the user section activated. Here it's advisable to load the data that we want to send and send it as a JSON. Then from the client side, we'll have to subscribe to the SaveCustomInfo event, also of user, and there receive the JSON sent to be able to query the information that we wanted to send and receive. Of course, the information received must be processed by the developer and saved in the tables that require it. That's all. Now let's see a case associated with applications. Our objective is the same as in the login failed case we saw, to log all the access attempts to objects that the user doesn't have permission to access. To do so, we must subscribe to the checkPermissionFail event, and in the procedure, work as we wish with the JSON that we will receive. In this type of event, the JSON will correspond to the external object GAM session logCheck permission fail, so we can include the following properties in the error message that we will log.